Good morning.
What's up,
Jeanette.
guys?
Good day, Nick.
Morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, all.
Morning.
Hi,
Morning.
Sandra.
Today's a good day.
Morning.
Who said that? I
Yes.
agree.
Today is a fabulous day.
Isn't
I
it though?
agree. Hmm.
Hey,
Just so.
David.
How you doing, April? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hey, Peggy. Good morning,
Nice race.
guys.
Hi, Andre. Hi, Ben.
Hello. Good
Hi,
morning.
everybody.
Hello, my
Hi,
dear.
Joe.
Good to see such lovely, happy people.
Mhm.
I see Joan on here. Hi, Joan. But your picture's not on there. Hi, Peggy.
Hi,
Peggy.
morning.
How's
Good
everyone
morning,
going
everybody.
today?
Hey.
Oh, all good. All good.
Where's Mr. Colin?
Oh,
I don't see,
yeah.
yeah, I don't see Colin on here. Colin, where are you, honey?
I don't I don't see him on the list
Yeah, I'm going
currently.
to reach out to him today.
Nice.
Yeah, let's reach out to Colin.
You're a rock star, April. Good job.
Hmm.
Well, I do like
Taking
Rush.
care of us.
Mhm. Rock stars wish.
Yeah, right. Some little old lady in the front of the band.
The most jacked one there.
Yes, man.
All right. Looks like we get the surge has stopped, so I'm going to switch on over to the form tracks.
Might not be able to stay the whole time. I have a doctor's appointment at 10:30, so
Unacceptable.
hey, sorry.
Nick, thank you for the article, by the way. It was fantastic this morning.
Glad that helped. It it it's a very common. I try to target what seems to be the most universal thing with that one was just like glaring me in the face. Like I had to, you know, take the time to, oh man, it's starting me on the last one. That's not what we want. Why to
Well,
do that?
I know as a home gym guy that's been a question I've asked half a dozen times. So being able to see that and go, okay, yep.
Good.
So thank you.
Yeah, dumbbells especially. I'm the same.
I mean, it's there's a certain point like I get the budget. Like there's just a certain point where like you're gonna have to buy weight. Like if you're doing this at home from home, like that is simply just a necessity. Like you can only Leah is actually a fresh and really good example is she was doing tempo for months and months and months and she was getting to the point with even the weight she had, she was outside of doing some crazy long tempo to progressively overload and get it the results she wanted. She broke down and bought a rack and a barbell and sure enough, she was squatting more than she ever thought she could right out of the bat, or right off the bat, simply due to all that tempo she did for months and months and months. And I've done it at the highest level. I mean, we built 700-pound deadlift for reps on an axle, simply using tempo at 100 pounds or less on deadlift. um, Working around my back, coming off of a tweak. So like I know it works, but at the same time, it's you're gonna have to eventually pull the trigger and get
I
more
like
weight or go to a gym or simply have access to more weight.
I like the idea though too with the tempo. At least it buys some of us home gymmers some time to save up, so that way we can invest in that next thing. Like
That's
Chrissy,
that's
who's
I love how you put that because that's basically what it is.
I'm on
It
the
is
chat.
buying you time until you can actually,
We're in the Zoom
you
chat
know,
with Nick.
get the next set of plates or the next set of dumbbells or whatever it is. It's not a permanent solution, but it can buy you time. That's why I listed it as my number two. And I wish I would have set it oriented it that way, because that's a really good way to put it, because the action is basically buying you time till you can afford and have access to the weight.
Yeah, well, again, that's why I appreciated the way it was written so much. So just wanted to make sure I gave you that shout out.
I appreciate that. All right, we're gonna hop right into it. Dave looks like he's doing some barbell deadlifts. Dave, your deadlift overall is I think it's fantastic. I love it. The hinge pattern. Look at this. Neutral spine. He's not in hyperextension. He's very neutral. It loads. He's got a hard input, but he's not jerking on the bar. He's bracing. The only thing that I think we can get more out of this is if we narrow your foot width up. Take your foot width and half it, and that's how much I want you to come in. It's not a lot, and get those toes slightly pointed out. Because what that'll do as we get closer to that lockout, that external rotation will allow more glute drive to come through and finish the rep. And we get a little bit more acceleration out of the top half, which I would like to see. But otherwise, Dave, your deadlift's looking fantastic.
When you say half it on the foot width, are you saying like cut it in half?
No. Like if this is your foot width, the amount I want you to come in is half of your foot width on each side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha.
That was a stupid way to say that. So my bad.
Glad I asked that.
No, fair enough. I set you up to be confused. That's on me. Yeah, man, I love your deadlift. I think it's gonna take a little bit of, and it's not even polishing of something you're doing wrong. It's polishing to get more out of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Starting off on a great note. Gabriel, don't let me down. That's a hard follow. And my Wi-Fi strikes again. We're actually going to be moving the Starlink thing, because now that all the trees in the forest has come to life, it is like overstretching directly the receiver for the Starlink. So we've got to move it, because
It's a nice
this is
problem to
exactly
have.
why.
Yeah, Nick, we actually topped out trees just for Starlink, and it did help.
Yeah, well, this tree's like 50, 60 foot. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that's a
we
lot.
had massive pine. Yeah.
Push it down.
yeah, it all it needs is like a just to be relocated out to the different part of the deck, and it'll be fine. But it worked in the winter. It's not working right now, and this is problematic. So we're coming forward. We peeled up all the way into our midfoot. See that little shift forward before you? It's very subtle. Look at this. Boom. He pitches forward right before he descends into that squat. He loads his front foot right there. Now we're forward, and the bar is going to be past our center, which is that midfoot. We want the bar basically right here over our ankle and midfoot. And we're going to break that line. Now we're over our toes. We're way over our toes. And that's why your butt had to kick back before you came up. So what we need you to do is I need you to stay into that midfoot, into the heel, and gripping the floor with your toes.
Okay.
So our heels stay planted firmly on the ground. So you're going to hip, when you break at the top to hinge, to squat, you're going to break at the hips first. And I want you sitting straight down, because this is coming way forward, and it's going to feel a lot easier because you're going to be able to come straight up out of the hole and not have to do this kick back bit. See that? How you subtly kick back and then come up? That's your body putting you back over your midfoot.
Yeah, I was concentrating too much on having the slow descent, so I think okay,
You're
I'll
making
try
the
next time.
descent harder, really, because you're putting yourself out of alignment. So that would have probably felt easier in the right bar path, but that's okay. It's very subtle, and it's when people, it's a very common misgroove to the front. People almost rarely go backwards.
Okay, I will try next time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good. Jumped up, hit the eccentric. Yep, good initiator. Nailed it. That was beautiful. Keep pushing for that longer eccentric, Bridget. That's how you're gonna really progress those. And then for those of you that it didn't look stuck because she's saying stuck here. It's it's not a big it's not a big thing. That's about all you're getting out of it. I can see their traction happening. So we just need we're just going to be getting stronger. So you're going to do I think the way for forward for you is assisted. So you're going to do whatever the protocol is for reps with assisted, with a band, with, a little bit of a jump up, whatever. And then on your last, 3 reps, you're going to do those super, super slow, unassisted eccentrics. So we're just going to overload it. The scapular traction, I literally saw a video on this morning, and I can't believe like the lack of logic that went into saying stop retracting your scapula on pull-ups and rows. And then he demonstrated drawing a bow. He's like, you want to get long, you want to use the whole shoulder. Okay, first of all, the shoulder is a stabilizer unless you're pressing. And even then, it's also stabilizing. We don't use our shoulders to fucking pull. It bears the weight. Our back is the retractor, our posterior. So why in the fucking world would we not want to get the bigger muscle group involved in pulling ourselves up to the bar? Like just the ability to throw logic out the window blows my mind on the internet. Trying to be profound and against the grain, like biomechanics are biomechanics. Like I should do a video roasting this dude on the pump.
Don't bottle it up, chap. Say what you think.
Well, I was told not to use that word.
Which word?
It's fine. We have British and Australian
The R
people here. You're
word.
allowed. Oh, not that one. I see.
Oh, the R word.
I
Oh,
went the
yeah.
other way.
The F word is music to my ears, so that's fine.
It's a
Or-
verb as far as I'm concerned.
It's a
It's
big
not
deficit.
mine. Hate it.
Torin, so on these deficits, I'd rather see you sit down lower in a position. So basically, it's going to force more quad drive. That's going to be the point. The deficit to force more quad drive to build that off the floor quad power, because that's the main mover. Go to say the quad is doing a lot of heavy lifting off the floor. So I'd rather see you sit down into that and get that lumbar into position and really load those quads off the floor. That's also a ton of deficit. I mean, you could probably get away with maybe a 10 kilo plate, give or take, bumper, something in between. That first one was deep. The second one I liked a little bit better because there's a certain point in deficit where it's too much range of motion. We can't get into position. Like if I stood on a 2-foot block and tried to do deficit pulls, there's no way I'm getting there, right? So that's an exaggerated comparison. Is this the same video? That was a little better. But yeah, same thing. You could probably go up one hole higher on your rack height, Richard. Okay. Slight hip shift to the left, and then it kicks back right. Not that worried about it at the moment. I'm more so I had him submit this angle to look at his foot width. Richard, I want to see you come in slightly on your squat width. This is why I think we're so open, your hips and everything are struggling to stabilize on the way down. And then when you input power, your quads and everything are taken over. And that kind of brings you back into where we want to be. But I want you to narrow this up slightly. So from here to literally like here. So I'm looking at that ankle to femur angle. And there's a lot of in. And if it feels like dog shit, we can always go back. But I think we can get a little bit more quad because this is the wider you go is going to be a little bit more like adductor and hamstring dominant. Yeah, let's try slightly narrower. Not as bad on the front squat. I'm a little bit wider on my front squat than I am back squat. Not by much. But let's do the same thing. Just a slight, ever so slight narrowing of the stance.
I don't have anything. Ouch.
Good. Kick those hips out. Hinge first, then break at the knee on the descent of a deadlift so our hips get behind us. So we don't go into that flexion at the top. This is good. I'm curious to see what your heavier pulls look like. Something will come to the surface. It always does. So I'd like to see kind of what goes first on your heavier sets. Overall, pretty damn good, Jamie. We need to start with our hips ever so slightly higher. They go from here, bip, they rise, slightly kick forward into position. So if we keep that same barbell distance from our shins, but we bring our hips ever so slightly, I mean ever so slightly higher, we're going to go from literally there to there. Pause it.
Yeah, that's it.
There. Yep.
Yep.
That's going to be a little bit more in line with, because that's when your leg drive actually goes into the bar.
Right.
Everything else, you're pressing the floorway with your feet, but what's happening is you're pitching, and then the leg drive actually is at an angle where the legs, the hips, and everything get involved.
Gotcha. Okay.
Otherwise, your hinge pattern looks brilliant. I love it.
Great. Thank you.
Well done.
Oh, yeah, this is pin squats.
I wanted to see the front angle. Accidentally skipped it.
Oh, yeah. I've joined them together. So, yeah.
That's perfect. Get your toes ever so slightly out.
Okay.
Yeah, love it. Just simply get those toes pointed slightly out and then drive those knees out towards your arms just a little bit. And as we rise, our glute's gonna try and squeeze your butt with your toes straight, and then try and squeeze your butt standing with your toes slightly pointed out and feel that. Tell me what feels different. Go ahead. You can do it right now if you want.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yep. Immediately you feel a little bit more glute activation with the slight turn out.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I've stitched the front view onto the back of this one, so it'll run continuous. You'll see the front view straight after this.
Yeah. Okay. We get a slight little kick up, which means when we're coming down, we're coming forward. So our butt has to kick up to counter to put us in a position to fight back.
Yeah.
So that was actually good. Yes, good. I know it was a harder rep, but you were much better in that position. Not bad. Just getting slightly forward, something to be conscious of, driving that back into the bar on the way down so we continue to descend vertically and we don't come down. What happens is with pin squats specifically, people anticipate the pins. So as they're coming down, they're hitting depth. They then kind of do this subtle little thing that they wouldn't normally do where they kind of dump forward to set it down on the pin versus just continuing down and arriving at the pin. That looked like from the front. From the front, everything looks very good. But you can probably feel the difference when you misgroove it.
Yeah, it's a weird motion starting from the bottom. It's really hard actually. I didn't realize how hard it would be.
That's the point.
I think I didn't get a lot of rest in that one, and I actually failed on that one. But yeah, it's certainly different.
I mean, overall, you did a great job. Just be conscious of it trying to fold you at that bottom and fighting back into the bar and staying vertical.
Cool. Thank you.
Good. The game with these is to help out as little with that back foot as possible. But, I mean, everything here looks spot on. Keep a nice vertical torso, not swinging, not leaning forward. Nailed it. Overall, this is a correct way to do a fly. Tomas, what I would like to see is you see how when you're coming up, you're coming kind of down out away from your face. There you go. You correct it a little bit there. I want to see you stay over that upper chest. Looks good from here, close grip bench wise. Yeah. Good. Get set. Beautiful. Got a little out of groove on that one. Nice. Brian, these look good.
All right. Thanks. I was, when I'm doing them, I'm like, my ass is hitting the ground. And then when I see the video, I'm like, I'm not even close to 90 degrees. What the hell's happening?
You're flirting right at depth, man. Like you are. Let's see if I can. That is at depth. Hip crease, top of the knee. A centimeter higher, you'd be above.
Do you have, I mean, can you tell if I have like a long femur, or is there anything that said, all right, yeah, I need to, maybe I got to get my heels elevated? Is there anything kind of looking at it where you're like, you could go deeper?
You're long femur with a short torso.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hip elevation will absolutely help you. Reason being, long femur, short torso with the leverages, typically because the long femur, when you're down in this position, because of long femurs, it essentially creates more lever, a bigger lever here, which means you have to fold over more to keep that bar over center foot because your hips are further away from your center foot due to the femur length. But the advantage to a short torso is that from here up, the weight doesn't have a bunch of leverage. You should be able to be strong in that brace because you have a shorter torso. So what tends to happen with long femur, short torso squatters is they tend to have more of a forward squat position, a leaned over in the hole, which is fine. That is okay. That's anatomy. Whereas someone like me who's long torso, short femur, I have a pretty vertical position on most of my squat variations. So to help with that, elevating the heels and getting a little bit of a head start on that anterior pelvic tilt, you're going to notice a difference. Guarantee it.
All right.
So yeah, put some 10-pound plates underneath each foot, and give that a shot.
Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, I tried doing a deadlift video this morning and I hit stop on my record. So I got 3 6-second videos of me just staring at the camera. So I would have liked to have gotten that one in too, but no.
I've done that. Shit, I've done it on a PR.
Oh, that's got to be awesome to do. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
Of course. Paul, these are great. Keeping those pinkies a little bit higher than the thumbs. Well done. Reverse fly. Okay. Yes. Much better. Elbow angle's not really changing. You're targeting. I'm willing to bet you probably felt that in the rear delt, back of the shoulder, a lot more than in the past. You could even potentially come a little bit more out in line with the shoulder instead of back as much. going back tends to recruit a little bit more of the upper back. So something to play with there. Stand up. There you go. So, Amelie, when you catch the bar, you need to stand up after the catch because it's a redip and drive after that into the press. And we don't want to jerk on the bar. So you're trying to be explosive, but you're actually pulling yourself out of position by doing this motion where you go down and jerk versus pulling in tension and sitting into the clean position. The clean position is going to have a little bit lower of a ass position. So your butt's going to have to come down slightly to get that chest up. It's going to be very much more quad dominant. So the bar comes up the body and we get into extension. So you're like trying to stall an extension, and that you don't want to stall an extension. Holding extension isn't more extension. It's boom, you hit extension, and then you fire under the bar. It's not hold extension, catch it, then come down. It's fire into extension, fire under the bar. And then once it lands, you stand up with it. Just stand up. Then you rebrace, and then that's what happens before the press. So this, where you're catching it, you're coming up, and you're staying in extension, and then you're coming down, we're delaying the process. We're making it harder. We're making it longer. You come up, you catch it, and you're catching and you're standing there. Why, I don't know. In this half quarter squat position. When you catch, you stand up. Set your feet, dip, drive, press. When you get to that portion. So staying in that bent knee position after it lands is not a thing. Catch it, stand up. Trap bar looks fine from this angle. It's from the front, so it's a little hard to see what the hinge pattern actually looks like, as if I would be from the side. But from the front, it looks okay.
Are you in the kitchen? Are you in the okay?
It looks okay. So I'd like to see it from the side a little bit more. She's coming off of a knee tweak, so we're definitely favoring one side. She's got that 1 foot pointed out way further than the other. Favoring one side heavily. And this is a very high pull. This is like like if a rack pull was a bar, this would be that. So yeah, let me see it from the side. Good. Tish, these are good.
Yay!
I'd like to see you really get your shoulders underneath of you on this. So bringing them back and down.
Okay.
So we're
Like
pressing
rolling?
through here and we're not pressing with our shoulder. Yes, our front delta is loaded and helping the chest, but we really want to bring our back into the equation or the front side of our body.
Okay.
I imagine trying to put your scapula in your back pockets. Back and down.
Okay.
So then we're pressing. And you notice how my shoulders don't come out of that position? Back and down. So I unrack. Yeah, I might have to reach a little bit on the unrack. And then that pause so I can screw my shoulders in and
Sort
get
of.
my chest proud, that slight arch in my back, squeeze in my butt, drive my feet into the floor. I literally coil myself down to my heels. And then I'm pressing from this position without getting all in here.
Okay.
Makes sense? You
I
look
think
like you're
so.
thinking real
Yeah,
hard.
I tried to kind of like roll my shoulders back, but I think I'm just not quite there yet.
It's going to take some time to figure it out.
Okay.
One thing you can do is, so I actually get into the bar from, if you watch the masterclass video, I think the bench is on there. I actually set up past the bar and then I push myself down into my heels and coil tension into my whole body, into my quads and everything. And then I'm setting up and I'm screwing myself in. Bit, I come out of the rack. I don't want to have to reach for the rack. It should be here, and it's a little like half tricep extension, kind of. It's like the lockout portion, and then I come out, and then I'm down up.
Okay.
So I'm
I think
able to
that's-
stay tight.
I think that's where I was also not sure if I was like height wise, if it was a good starting place or not for unracking.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks like you're having to reach to unrack it, which we don't want, because also if you're struggling to get back to the rack, a higher rack is going to be harder to get to.
Right. Okay.
Growing pains. These are
Yep.
good problems.
So I had a question on the presses. I can't really tell the difference between an overhead press and a shoulder press. They look
They're the
kind of the
same
same
thing.
to me.
They're the same thing.
Okay.
It's just different terminology. I mean,
That's funny because like when you have the option to swap, they give you both as an option. And I'm like, but they look the same.
I'm gonna have to ask Adam because
Okay.
in the strength world, an overhead press is a shoulder press.
Cool.
The argument could be that an overhead press is a bigger compound movement, whereas a shoulder press is a seated, like this strict press would be my guess.
Mm.
That would make sense. But like say I wrote the program, I would write, if it was like this variation with dumbbells, it would be like dumbbell OHP seated. So dumbbell overhead press seated. So it's like there's no room for you to potentially confuse two movements. We were actually discussing in the chat like the difference between a calf raise and an extension, and one is just seated and the other one is technically standing. But that's one where I think it does a disservice to people, because the calf raise and the extension, the input's the fucking same. The raise is technically the standing, which is my favorite, and much more effective in my opinion than the seated. But they're both the same thing. You're having a very similar input in both. One, I would just call a seated calf raise, and the other one a standing calf raise. So then guess what? You know exactly what to do, and you're not like, oh, what's what? Like,
yeah,
this is kind of like we're splitting hairs here. So in the past, I would say it makes sense the shoulder press is the seated, whereas the overhead press is the standing. I I can talk to the powers that be that to make that a little bit more clear. So seated shoulder press or standing overhead press, or standing or seated overhead press, like it.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, I think one of the things is in like the hint description things, the one does say seated where the other one says standing. When it tells you like how to set up and it gives you the hints on it, it does specify it there, but not in the title.
See, I'm a title guy. Like, say what you mean. So, I'll talk to Adam about it because I get that there's the hints and stuff. So I'll definitely bring that up to Catch, and that's good feedback. Knowing that some like these, something like this is like I'm not sure what's what, and yes, if there's hints, but like I'm the app that I am coached on with Tom, but even though that app is set up for the coaching end, it's not set up for the user end. It's two very different platforms. Like that's set up so the coach can coach multiple athletes in depth and have all the data. So it can be a little tedious on the athlete end when it comes to logging. So but sometimes I get confused. I'm like, I don't know what this is, the description, whatever. And he'll send me a YouTube video from his channel, and that clears it up. Because even I still get variations that I haven't done, and I'm like, I get the idea, but I'm going to see it, right? So having something that's clear cut and dry, this app is, supposed to be user friendly, not prioritize the coaching. So that's valid feedback. When it comes to writing down the description, I agree with both you and Ty on that it should be titled so the variation because it makes it simpler. A really good example is me and my coach got in a comedic argument. Dealt flies. He said a fly is a press. And I'm like, well, it's the same thing, just in the reverse motion. And he goes, well, that's a raise because you're raising. I'm like, well, technically a press is a raise. If you want to get down to it, you're raising it up from where it was. And he goes, well, no, it's, it has a pivot point here. Whereas I'm like, it's still a raise. So again, both are right. But it's like, why does it have to have a different name? You know what I mean? So, but I think that was the difference in European and American. I always assume Europeans are wrong because, we beat them. It's a very American way to look at it. But yes,
we beat ourselves.
If that's what helps you sleep at night, Benjamin.
Of course,
yeah, it's in my opinion, two heads of the same coin. But if the title is what's causing confusion, I think that is something we should listen to.
I will say on this particular program, Grit Advanced, it is titled as seated, both of them.
Seated overhead versus seated press?
Seated overhead press, and then there's also a seated shoulder press. I'm going to check this.
Yeah, see, I'd look at that and be like, what the fuck do you want? Because that's confusing to me without...
Yeah, like there's two different options. If I go to... I'm going to look at it.
Yeah, read that out loud right now.
Seated barbell shoulder press.
Yeah.
So, read them. So it's what?
So it's this, there's a seated barbell shoulder press.
Okay.
If I swap on one of them, there's a seated barbell overhead press as an option to swap. And I'm looking at both of them going, but they look the same to me.
And one of them doesn't have like you sitting with a back. So like, is the shoulder press have a back support?
You know what? I think that might be, one of them has back support, I want to say. Let me see. The overhead.
Okay.
Overhead has no back support. And
Okay.
shoulder,
So again,
difference.
this is where the title is very important because that is a nuance, right? And I only know the nuance because I've been doing this a long time. And when that's titled, typically it'll say seated overhead press, unsupported or supported. So unsupported, I would know is what you're doing here. Supported, I know, and then typically for me, it'll give me like a bench degree angle, like 80 degrees. So I know that it's going to be almost 90. My bench doesn't say degrees on it. I've got to kind of guess, but I know it's going to be closer to upright than not. So that's the nuance with this, and I think that should be at least clarified, supported or unsupported. So I don't think you shouldn't feel any type of way about being confused in that, because it took me clarification and I know the nuances, right? So
Nick, when they decide to update the names, can you make sure they update the names as reflected in the program? Because, they have the associated video, but like Tish, excuse me, was indicating, when you go to swap, yeah, it would be important to detail it in the original program as well.
yes. That would be the I think, to make it all uniform.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Of course. Someone's drawing on my screen. I don't know how to undo it. A little out front on that, Mark.
Yeah.
See how the bar's slightly coming back? That means you're out front by like this much, dude. You're right there.
Cool.
So literally it's just a matter of bringing the bar in. Like if this is your leg and this is the bar, you're pulling here, it's picking up and coming in. So that means our setup needs to come in with the bar to where it's swinging to. So there's this like space. I think it was Joan. Can you undo that? That's gonna annoy the fuck out of me. Anyway, thank you. When there's this space, if this is the top of my foot, and my wrist is the heel, these are my toes. There's this space over somewhere between touching your shin and the top of your foot before like you get to like where your you see the tarsal separation in your toes. Somewhere in that gap on everyone's setup is the sweet spot over the top of the foot. Now there's variance and deviation due to everyone's proportions and things like that. This is something we went over with Carly. She was struggling with that for a powerlifting meet, and she was doing the same thing, slightly out front and swing back. So for those of you watching this, if the bar swings toward you when it breaks off the ground, it means the bar's out front. If the bar swings away from you as it breaks off the ground, it means you're out front. And what that's doing is it's gravity. This is our hinge point, right? This is the hinge. So if the bar is in front of that hinge, as soon as the ground's out from under it, it's going to swing toward you. If the hinge is in front of the bar, it's going to swing away from you. So both are not ideal, but it happens. So the difference in even that subtle being out front, Mark, the difference in it being right under where you want it to be, you're going to feel it immediately when you're in groove. Because you're going to be used to that resistance off the floor due to leverage, and then it's just not going to be there the same as it has been. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? That flew.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
realistically, you need to, because I'm not you, I can't look out of your eyes and down over your foot. You're going to have to find a visual marker on top of your feet and know that that's your spot when you step into the bar.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's hard to do on the floor because the bar moves. But your feet are always going to be your feet. Hopefully. So you need to kind of build that recording from the side like this and knowing what to look for in your training is step one. Step two is then building a reference on top of your foot going, okay, this is where it is. One thing, do you have chalk?
Yeah.
Take that chalk block. When you find that sweet spot, draw a line on top of your shoe.
Okay.
And then you can do that over and over and over again until you don't need that line anymore. You know.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well done. The rest of your deadlift looks fucking awesome. Neutral spine, good hinge. Everything is great. You're just making it harder for yourself by being slightly out front.
Okay.
And don't get frustrated when every rep isn't in perfect groove, because even I misgroove them. And I've got more reps than probably anyone in here. You're going to misgroove them. But the goal is to get the vast majority in groove and automatic.
Really helpful. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Yes. Good speed, too.
Trying to be explosive on the way up was the plan.
I mean, you were flying. So, we were talking about femur length, right? Mark has a much more similar build to me when it comes to his center. He has that shorter femur with a longer torso. Look how upright he's able to naturally sit. That is something you really won't see out of long femur, short torso. And that is simple. Oh, my genetics. It doesn't make you worse at squatting. It just makes you have a different setup and slightly different movement pattern. So that's all it is. It's just different. It's not here nor there. Just different. That's also why you can't coach squat the same for everyone. Yeah, you have your, and I know I've probably said this 8,000 times, is you have your general yeses and nos, but within that, there's a ton of nuance. Bulgarian split squats. You're too far. I would take about a half step back, because too far meaning you're reaching a little bit here, and you've got to come back to get into that center point. And this is going to test your balance, so this is good. Keep focusing on something out in front of you. I would take a half step back and really try and we don't want to fold. We want to stay as vertical as possible with these because we want to load that quad. So if you're able to get a little bit back so it doesn't cause you to reach and in turn push yourself forward, that could be this is going to be something you're going to get used to with, Mike. You're going to be playing with half step forward, half step back until you find that sweet spot and that balance really clicks for you. And it's going to take reps. But we want to stay upright from the hips up, and we want to sit basically between our heels. If we're too far out front, it means we have to push back. If we're too far forward, it's going to try and push us forward. I'm sorry. If our front foot's too far back, it's going to push us forward over our toe and make it harder equally in the opposite direction. So finding that sweet spot is going to take some reps, some practice, and trial and error, and that's okay. So we want to get lower for sure. And again, we don't want to see how we're getting down there and we're in this extension or flexion. We want to keep this all tight. So we go from being here to here, and we're reaching for the chair with our hips and keeping that upper body in line. You may want to bring your feet in a little bit narrower so our knees track out over our pinky toes and our knees track out like this versus that collapse. And it looks like you're very inside foot heavy. So and possibly flat-footed. And typically with flat foot, the common thing is people with flat feet typically struggle to generate stiffness through the foot into the ankle, especially when it comes to things like extension, running, walking, and so forth. So part of I want your warm up to be is I want you basically doing rising on your tippy toes and holding for like 3 to 5 seconds and doing 3 by 15 to 20 every single day. It's kind of a calf raise, but what I don't want you to do is holding on to anything because we want that rigidity and that stability to come in. Want to train that foot. Basically teaching you to generate that stiffness, and that will help with this ankle and below stability. But yes, bring your feet in slightly, drive your knees out of your pinky toes, keep that chest prouder, meaning drawing all this under tension. Not bad. Not bad at all. Extension. This is good. Hips are coming through. She's riding to her toes. The extension is snappy. I like it. All right. So from this point up, the rack position. You're in a rack position for a strict press, i.e. no leg drive. Elbows, wrists, bar, it's all stacked in a vertical line. When it comes to pressing with a leg drive, the push press, no jerk, leg drive into the bar. First things first, we want that front squat rack position because right now you have a suspension. And what happens when you dip and drive, watch this. You see how there's that sag as you dip before you drive? So if we're watching her elbows in the barbell, see it all compress, and then it has to fire up. But now the bar, if we watch from the side, the bar has to travel around her because we have to get into position as we press. So when you get into that rack position, your legs are throwing the bar off the delts. And we want our leg drive to go right in to the bar. And if the bar is in contact with trapped behind our delts, your leg drive, without a doubt, goes right into the bar. 2, the bar is closer, gives you better leverage. So when we're throwing into that position and driving, our head is up, our chin is back, we're looking slightly up, so our face is out of the way. So when we throw, so not only with the bar being closer, it makes it harder for any sort of hinging to happen. We don't want hinging to happen in the dip. Meaning, when we dip, there's this slight hinge. So if you watch your knees, catch, land. Boom, our knees come in. We roll in, our heels come up. We're getting forward, bars out front. Now we have to get back. Now, this triple extension, once your leg dry, is fantastic. But we want a nice vertical. See my hips travel vertical? How I'm doing that is I'm actually pointing my toes out. So my knees track over my toes. So I clean, I catch. Now I get my feet set. I get underneath the bar. I crank my toes out and I sit here. My knees go over my toes and then I get into that extension. We don't want our knees to collapse in. So this is why clean and pressing, there's so much going on. Warming up, what I would do for you is, this is why I teach it from the top down, so I don't have to teach all of that, right? That is so much to get someone to, I don't expect anyone to grasp all that at once. So this is why I teach the press, the rack position in the press, so then when we move on to the clean, you know what to do from here on up. I would warm up your dip and drive. So we get used to that rack position, we dip and drive, do a couple sets of that, empty bar, lightweight, whatever is, sub 50% or less, get that dip and drive ingrained, and then move on to the working set with the clean and press. Deadlift fail. I mean, that flew off the floor, man. Are you in here, John? No. Man, that flew. Had I have been there, I'd have been screaming at you to keep fucking pulling. I mean, this just flew from floor to that mid range. Yeah, so when you do rack pulls, that's where you're doing them from, that height. So that's our dead spot. That's a very common dead spot. Right before we crest the knees. So not the end of the world. You just didn't have it that day. Nothing. I mean, we're in position. Look at this. This is all fantastic. It just didn't go up, and that's okay. Is there any more to that? Let me double check before I skip. Nope. Okay. Good. I like the rack position so far. Sit deeper. Go lower than you think. That was a good rep. That was pretty. You notice you didn't have any of that deviation. It was like that rep felt natural to you. So you're trying to start, I think, a little bit too vertical in the sense that you're trying to keep your hips underneath you for longer as if you were going to push press, versus letting them track how they're supposed to track, letting them come slightly back like they do in the bottom. So they should be coming back there versus down, down, down. Then they come back and it gives you that unsteadiness where to be feeling. So, what was it? That third rep? Yeah. That one. Make them all like that rep. That was good. Your hips were allowed to track where they needed to be. Your rack position and the waist up, man, that looked fantastic. That was rock solid. Mindy, these are great. Only thing, I'd like to see you really pull into that back, which would bring your chest out as you come down. There's only so much you can do with the close grip because you can't get apart to get around your body. But pulling into that back and really driving with the elbows down into your hips should really bring the lats into the equation a lot heavier. Just a hair high, Andres. But these are looking really, really good. Keep that upper thoracic mid back. Keep that tight. Drive that into the bar the whole way down. So we don't get that at the very tail end of your squat. We get a little bit of a fold. Bip right there in that upper rib cage. Good. Well done. Andres, you nailed these. Starting to let go in that lumbar just a little bit. We're getting a little bit more round. Be mindful of that. Keeping it together. The first 2 to 3 reps are fantastic.
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah, you had some earlier. They were like the second videos.
Yeah, that was the deficit deadlift.
Yes.
Just because they're for my next session, but I haven't done them that much. I just want to ask like about both the height of the platform and
Yeah, I would have liked the smaller one.
the smaller one.
There's reason being there's a certain height where it just exceeds our ability to get down to the bar.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
kind of just defeats the purpose because like I used an exaggerated thing. Like if I was standing on a 2-foot box, I wouldn't be able to get into position to pick a bar up off the floor. It'd be look very different. So the point of the deficit deadlift is you were trying to deadlift with your normal hip position when with that deficit, we need to drop you in a little bit more. So we get that heavy quad engagement because the quad is one of the big movers to come up off the floor, the quad drive. And then it goes to our hamstrings and glutes as we come up. So it's just going to be you getting your hips down a little bit more so than you would on a conventional deadlift and allowing your quads to load. And it's going to force you to go a little bit lighter because you're going to have to get into that, almost like a power clean position.
Oh,
where
okay.
your hips are just going to have to be lower.
Okay, should I go even lower though? Because I do have lower, thinner plates, just like 1
Yeah,
inch plates.
I would say like because you were using what 20 kilo plates on the thinner side.
Yeah, they're like bumper plates. They're quite thick.
I would even go like a 10 kilo bumper.
10 kilo bumper. Okay. Should it be like explosive or should it be more like kind of grindy?
What's the rep scheme?
It was 5, I think.
No, you don't need to worry about being. You still want to accelerate the bar as much as possible always. Yeah. But that sounds like strength work.
Yeah, it's 5. Okay.
Yep.
Happy days. That
So
was the question.
these,
Yeah, you guys to see these from the side last time.
these are good. You're doing these like an Olympic lifter. So
Happy days.
technically very correct. But I don't need you to do them like an Olympic lifter. So what I want to see out of your high pulls, I don't want us to come off the hips like you would like a snatch.
Yeah.
So again, technically sound. Like if I was teaching an Olympic movement, that's how I'd want to see you doing your high pulls. But we're just generating explosive power. So I want to see you clear the hips and finish off with the upwards row.
Okay. So it's still more like
we want that explosive extension from the legs and the hips, but
yeah.
we don't want our hips to ever connect because we want to keep that thoracic and upper back loaded.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah,
you want it close to the hips, close to your body. Everything is good, but I just don't want you rocketing it off your hips. Again, I don't want to confuse people. What Torn was doing wasn't wrong. It just has a different application. He was doing it much more from an Olympic technique fundamental skill set versus the power we're trying to get out of the high pull, which is not coming off the hips. So I don't want to see anyone coming off the hips for this movement. Again, what he did wasn't wrong. It was actually a higher level of technical difficulty, which is pretty cool that we're able to show the contrast. But the application is to generate power, so we want to keep it loaded. And the way he was doing it will result in him being able to do more weight, because that is how you would. If I was telling you to clean the bar, that's like the first half of it. That's honestly an Olympic style clean. That's what it would look like. How he came off of that upper pelvis, and at that point when you see the bar float, that's when they get underneath that thing. There's a point where the bar rises and then it's not going up or down, and that's where Olympic lifters pull themselves underneath the bar, catch, then stand up. And they do the same exact thing on the split jerk. Is there's a point where they throw it up with their legs and the bar stops rising, and right before it starts falling, that's when they push themselves underneath the bar. So this had very much more Olympic oriented technique. I want more of, so it's more conducive to power. This is a rare situation where I'm making it less optimal for Torin, because of what we're trying to get out of it. So
I'm happy. That's brilliant.
So that's really all it is.
Let's
don't go
do
off the hips. I just want power top to bottom and keeping it loaded. Keep it close. Don't get out in front of yourself. If there's a gap, if the distance increases between you and the bar, it's only at the top where you're back and you're trying to get it high. So it's close, and then the gap's here because we have to get out of the way.
Yeah. I think that there's more meters off at place. It's the same exercise but different sets.
Okay. Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's textbook, bro. Like it's clean as fuck, but it's just the wrong variation.
Yeah, which is probably my misunderstanding. So I'll work on that one.
It's okay. Is this the same one?
I think I smashed it into my chin at one point on this one, but
I do kind of want to see that.
I don't think it shows too much, but
Oh, you're getting so close.
Yeah, I think he's the last one
Oh,
already.
yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I was lucky I didn't knock myself down, but yeah, it's all good. Oh, yeah, I guess these are in the wrong order, but these are farmers like carries, I guess. My
Mhm.
question with this was, my gym only has 68 kilo dumbbells, which I can do on each side, but to go, beyond that, because the prescribed seconds were 20 seconds.
This is fine.
Yeah, so I can do these ones.
So in strongman, because it's one implement, we would call this a frame carry.
A frame carry.
Farmer is individual, but this is how you load. This is what you have. This is what you have to exceed the weight of the dumbbell, because the dumbbell is too easy. And if you don't have the room to walk, you could also march in place.
Yeah, that's probably good just to get.
You could also march in place if you don't have any sort of lanes to actually carry that. That is fine. Because what that does is it allows us to walking with it taxes our grip more than sitting with it, because we have the up and down, right?
Yeah.
And you can kind of exaggerate your steps, higher knees.
Okay.
I always tell people one of my favorite calf workouts is yoke carries and farmers carries, because they're getting a workout trying to accelerate with 700 pounds on your back, right? So again, farmers are good for a multitude of reasons, but you're making an adjustment because you don't have dumbbells heavy enough to really make this worth the effort. So this is, again, people, if you're in the same situation as Torn, where you don't have a place to move, you don't have dumbbells heavy enough, and you have a trap bar, this is a valid option. Just march in place. Yeah, people are around the gym that aren't into the strength side of things might look at you a little funny, but Torn's also jacked as fuck, so I don't think anyone's gonna look at him funny. They're probably more likely to go, well, that guy's strong. I wouldn't want to be strong. That would be my take. Maybe I'll do it. So this is a really good supplement that you made. On the spot decision. It happens.
Yeah, I tried with dumbbells as well, but I couldn't walk here with the trap bar. I did try it, but I kept bashing the benches.
Do you know what fat grips are?
Yeah.
That's a easy $30 investment, and then it's like giving you a whole new level of difficulty on the dumbbells you have.
Yeah, I think I have some somewhere. So there's just the thick blue grips you put outside the handles, right? Yeah.
That is another, again, a small investment. I don't know. I've had mine for so long now. I've had mine for a decade. They're still good. And when I forget my dog's ball, I use one of them as a throw toy for Hank, because it hits and bounces random directions, and he loves it. And they're just solid, dense rubber. So that is I don't know, anywhere between a $25, $30 some dollar investment. I don't know what they cost now. And they have different diameters now. It was just the ones when I got them, the blue ones. And I love the blue ones, so that would be my recommendation. I think the orange ones are way bigger. But if you've run out of weight in dumbbells and you don't have a trap bar, or if you just want to make grip stuff harder, get some fat grips, throw them on the farmers, or I'm sorry, the dumbbell, go for a walk. It'll turn those 60 whatever kilo he said into, say, a 5 out of 10 effort into probably an 8 to 9 out of 10 effort instantly on his grip.
Yeah, I already have fat grips. I'm definitely going to try that one out
Yes.
somewhere. Yeah.
If you don't want to get fat grips, the other alternative is, don't mind my incredibly dirty gun cleaning rag.
Nice.
This was white. You can take a rag or a gym towel and wrap them actually around the bar.
Okay, yeah.
And that will fatten it and make it harder to hold on to. I've done that just out of curiosity because someone told me to do it. And they weren't lying. It was harder.
That'd be nice. Harder than the fat grips.
No, harder than just the fat grips are harder because they're fatter.
Yeah.
but harder to hold on to than just the dumbbell.
Yeah, fair. Oh, yeah, squats. Not last week, the week before. I didn't join last week. I did squats and I kept leaning quite heavily to the left. And he gave me some stretches. The stretches felt insane, by the way. So I filmed from the front, so you can't see that. But you can see I don't think I'm leaning as hard.
Insane in a good way or insane fuck you?
Both.
Good. Yes. Ever so slightly on the way up.
Yeah.
This is good. This is a 1 week difference.
There's a 1 week difference. It's much better. But yeah, the stretches again, they were mean in a good way.
Good. I
Not
like
enough
to
of-
give this stuff like 3-4 weeks to really kind of let it cook.
Yeah.
And then we can reevaluate and see. We can throw in something else, swap stuff out if we need a little bit more. Sometimes it's, takes a little bit of active adjustment if we're conscious of it. The one gym I was training out of, and because I have a twisted pelvis slightly, it causes me to actually shift to my right because it's
Okay, yeah.
And I had a mirror in front of me, which I almost never have, and I thought I was squatting straight, but it allowed me to generate an active input to bring myself in alignment, really pull the floor apart with my feet, to really light up those quads and create glutes, to create tension to keep me square on the way down, and kind of force myself back into center. And it's going to take a few weeks of me doing that again to get there. So I'm doing the same shit, just different reasons.
Yes, that was really good. And I went a bit lighter. I think I only did, this is probably 170, I think, 3 plates. Yeah, they're in the reverse order.
Okay.
I
fucking hate my Wi-Fi. I need to move it. I have Starlink torrent, so I've got to move my thing because all the trees have leaves on them now and shit.
Oh, yeah. I think you mentioned last time as well, but
This was good.
Yeah.
So
Slightly
it's not out of the normal to see it amplify as you get heavier. That's totally fine. Deadlifts.
Yes. Again, last time you mentioned working on creating more tension in the lumbar bit or the lumbar part of it. So that's just been working on. I haven't gone too heavy. I think this is just 220 probably. I try without a belt just to get used to it a bit more. It's not brilliant yet, but let's see. Is it the video skipping for you guys as well? Not just me?
Yeah, I just backed it back up.
Yeah, it's just working on extending the lumbar spine a little bit before I pull. So when I did these, it felt super slow. It felt like I was adjusting for way longer.
It will, but it won't.
Yeah, it looked super quick when I looked back on the video.
It looked beautiful. All I want to do is, even at that weight, I'd like to see a little bit more acceleration when you hit that top ROM.
Yeah.
And bring your hips through fucking aggressive.
Yeah.
Like the bar owes you lunch money.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was working on before as well, so I just need to do them at the same time, and then
Is this like the same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. Well, we'll keep it moving.
Happy days.
Well done, Torrin.
Thank you so much.
A lot of good homework signs.
Absolutely. There'll be more next week. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, Ian. Look at that, setting up everything in line. Boom, holding it together, even on a longer rep. Ian, that was a lights out set, my dude. I fucking love that. Well done. All right. We adjusted Stefan's bar path. Good. Yeah, you're
Nick.
ending up in a much better spot. So, Stefan, I don't want you to think pressing them back over your head means you have to start back here. You can
Okay.
start. This goes for any variation of dumbbell overhead. So even if they're neutral presses, neutral grip, regular as if it's a barbell, or somewhere 3/4, I don't press here, right? I press even on my dumbbells. I'm slightly here. It's the direction of the press. So if I'm trying, even if I'm doing neutral grip, right, I'm pressing over my head. I don't need to start back here and press there. You can be anywhere, but we're pressing over our head either way. So where you were landing, if you were so far back, you were almost coming forward because it was a hard position to press in. See how you're kind of almost coming forward because you're so far back?
Yes.
You don't need to be back at the bottom. It's just pressing. If you watch my hands, I'm pressing up and back over my head and returning to here.
Okay.
It's the same concept as a bench press. We want to press up towards our face. So it puts it, the whole goal is to keep the weight over this center line. And you're currently behind it, which is why it's trying to come forward. So you were still ending up where you were basically supposed to end up. You were just so far back in the bottom, you had to come forward to return to that center line versus being here and pressing towards the center line back. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So
I tried.
right idea, almost you over adjusted.
Okay.
So bring them back to something that's just more comfortable, feels natural, anything in here, right? And just press back towards, like, almost in line with your ears.
Okay, perfect.
Loyan, these are pretty solid. Again, you're such a mobile dude. It's crazy. There's no shot. I both my hamstrings would fly out of the back of my legs. I'd like to see you a little bit more supported here. So that's the difference of I can't even get into that position, bro. Like I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to like move through this correction. So you're kind of, it's not bad, but it's subtle lumbar. I'd rather see you get into here and pull with that neutral back. That's really all I'm trying to say. Is create that neutral line. Michael, you misspelled your name, bro. I'm only giving him shit on this because he moves so well. Yeah, see, like his front spots are fucking great.
Fat
Like
fingers.
I gotta give him shit somehow, and it's misspelling his name.
I'm not quite deep enough, am I?
No, you're slightly high.
Yeah.
I
think near the last rep, I came pretty close to nailing it. There.
Have you tried the heel elevation yet?
No, I was thinking afterwards I need to try that next time. I'll probably do that with the barbell
I
squats.
want to see these again, and I want to see him with some heel elevation and see what happens.
Shall do.
I don't want to change too much because mechanically, you're doing very well. We just need you to get a little bit deeper. Part of it is on a couple of these reps, watch when you start your descent. You come down and break forward. ever so slightly. Getting those heels elevated might allow you to feel more comfortable at keeping those hips, this part of your hips slightly behind your heels.
Yeah.
Some super fine tune shit, which is a really good place to be.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done. Fun fact, Michael, I misspelled my own name on my first ever passport application. Like, arguably one of the worst possible times to make a spelling error.
Hopefully, we don't see you get deported.
Yeah.
End up in the Congo.
Lisa, I want dead stops on the pin. These pin squats are not designed to be touch and go. They are designed to start from a completely arrested motion state. So with the pin squats, you've been doing them a while. So what I want you to start doing is when you're working up, I want you to start off the pins, but I want you to raise the pins. And I want you to do 2-3 reps from a higher position, drop a hole or two, 2-3 reps, drop a hole or two, 2-3 reps, and then get down to our target height. So you're allowing yourself to work down into position. This is something I still do. Whereas if I have pin squats, I don't start right into my height. I start up out of the rack, get moving. I do like 10 reps, pauses in the hole, tempo, just to get my knees feeling good, my back feeling good, everything primed. And then I go about 3-4 holes high of my pin height, and that's how I start. And I do 3-4 reps, drop, 3-4 reps, drop. Now I'm at height, and then I start adding on and working up from that position. So
I add weight as I drop the pins. So like it's
No.
like workups, but I'm moving the pins, or I keep the weight the same and drop the pins.
You're not working up as you're dropping the pins.
Okay.
Unless you're going from like an empty bar and adding like a couple pounds. That's fine. You're picking a weight that is, you don't have to be an empty bar the whole way down. Pick a comfortable like sub 50%. And
Okay.
that's what you're working it down with. And then once you get down to where you're at, then you start your work up to your working set.
Okay.
Make sense?
I did have a question about the pin height. I put the plate under my feet because I'm working on a new rack, and it's kind of like there's like 5 inches between the holes or something like that. So the one below this was way too low, and the one above it was too high, and that's why I've got plates under my feet.
Yeah, that's
How
why I didn't say
important is
anything. I
that?
knew exactly what you were doing. Because I've
Okay.
done that. One was too low, one was too high. You made a
Is this
like this is
a
that's
good
how
height,
you
or
do
should
it.
it be a little bit more? Is this a good height, or should I put a
Um,
slightly thicker plate under my feet?
Let's see. You could probably go slightly thinner, but I don't want you to do that yet. I want you to get comfortable with where you're at and the work down into position, and then we can go in and do the thinner plate.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
I saw Bridget's in here. Now I can ask. You said stuck on your pull-up video. What did you mean by that? Is she
Who,
still in
me?
here? No,
Oh, me?
I saw Bridget was finally in here. Her video was
Yep.
super early. And she had a little text up here and regarding her pull-ups, and it said stuck. And I wanted to
Can you
ask.
hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's just the feeling of being stuck after that rotation. Like I feel like I got movement and then done. Can't go any further. So I don't know if there was anything I could do to add to my technique or if I just need to get stronger.
When you say you feel stuck on being able to retract, like you can't get them any further.
Yeah, it's like I can feel the shoulder like rotate. I can feel, but then it's like from lat down, it's just like there's like nothing happens. There's no more pull. It's just
Yeah,
like,
so that's the initiator of the pull.
okay.
So this even look, that's all it is for me. That's all I got, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a big motion. It
Mm-hmm.
is what it's doing is it's creating tension because what it looks like in sequence is it looks like all one motion. So if I'm gonna exaggerate it, it's here, then into the pool. Then I'm spread out here, then into the pool. When it happens all at once. So you're inputting the pool at the same time you're squeezing with your back to allow your back to engage up out of the hole width.
Okay. So I'm
So
thinking my back just isn't strong enough or isn't engaging enough.
it is because you engaged it and there was movement, right? It sucked you up. So that did its job. The other portion, which is the rest of the way, is
Yes.
bigger, so it's harder. So if you can try and put it all together into one rep. Do like a couple warm-ups just to activate. And again, you don't even need to hang to do it. I have people hang, so it's real world application for the pull-up, so you get the sensation, but you don't need to hang to do it.
Okay.
Like you can do it just standing. And then you put it all together, you fire it all at once when you're actually doing the pull-up.
All right. I'm trying.
So that's why I said in yours, I cued you. I want you to start doing them assisted. So you do your prescribed reps with assistance, and then your last 2 to 3 reps, whether it's a band or whatever, you remove the assistance and you hit those eccentrics.
Okay.
All right.
I can do that. Thank
Sounds
you.
good. I just didn't know what you meant by stuck. So I saw your thing pop up on the screen. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to ask.
Like this is as far as I can go.
Yeah, okay. All right, Sandra. Good. Little soft on the lockout. Shoulders, hips. So we want to get our shoulders stacked on top of our hips. So our hips aren't actually all the way through yet. So remember, you remember how I cue people slam your ass cheeks together and drive into the bar? That's what this is for. We want because you're planning on doing a powerlifting meet eventually, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this is very important because the side judge will give you red lights for that.
Okay.
We don't want a red light because we didn't lock it out. We did all that work, right? And we don't want it because we just didn't finish the last half inch. So as you come up, and rack pulls help with this as well. It's just very much more focused on it versus a full deadlift. So as you're coming up, we don't need to come all the way back here, right? A lot of people make that mistake. Oh, I'm locked out. What that does in contest is it's like, hey, I'm locked the fuck out. I can't go any further. You're commanding the lockout. You don't need to do that. This is locked out. I bring, for powerlifting standards, so there's no discrepancy, I make my athletes go shoulders slightly past the hips behind, just so there's none of this. This is soft. So we go, boom, we squeeze. We're squeezing as we're coming up, driving, pulling the floor apart, squeezing our butt cheeks, and meeting the bar. And trying to basically break the bar in half.
Okay.
The
All right.
rest of your pool looks lovely.
Okay.
I really want to see that lockout get locked out. Think accelerate. As the bar breaks, I want to see it speed up. Yes.
Okay.
And you've got good speed here, which means it's not a weight issue. It's not that you can't lock out. It's just a physical activation cue feeling thing that needs to happen to go, oh yeah, all the way.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Well done. Dumbbell flies. Okay, so rear delt. For the rear delt, so very common mistake, whatever you want to call it, is when we're doing these, our elbows get behind and we rotate. We get this rotation. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's exaggerated, but we actually want to keep our hands pronated. So imagine if you're standing vertical, this is what we want the rear delt fly to look like. We just want to take that and put it here.
Hello.
And you see how my elbows are still
Hang
in
on,
line
I
with my
can't
fists.
hear you. You sound like
Nothing
you're in the
changes.
well.
Nothing changes at all. Because once we go here, we're now getting the main delt. We're getting all of this, the front delt, the big shoulder cap. Versus when we keep it here, we're hitting way more in line with that rear delt, that back of the shoulder.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's very subtle, but I promise you'll feel the difference. It'll feel harder.
I think I'm understanding everything that comes out of your mouth. And then when I get in the gym and I feel myself, I see I'm missing everything. Thank you.
One thing you can do you have access to like a light band?
No, I don't, but I could get one.
Okay. A light band or some sort of, if there's cables, you can set it to like no weight. And you can walk up to the cable machine and do it one arm, but with a band, what you could do, because it'll make you hold it this way and just pull it apart. That's essentially what you're doing here.
Okay.
But you can do it with a cable. You just put one hand on the rail and then you just pull that cable apart. So the cable will be pulling this direction and you just pull that cable apart and mimic
I can do that.
with the dumbbell. Just you're pulling a band apart.
Okay. Yeah, I have access to cables. That'd be good. Thank you.
So you can, when you approach your dumbbell flies, the rear delt fly, do that for 1 or 2 sets, super slow, super light. You're not doing it for workout. You're doing it just because now you can see it. You can see the pattern happening. You can see what direction your elbow's oriented. You're not here. You're here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Better. That rep was even better.
Yeah, the third one is better. And the fourth.
That one. Carlos.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I did a lot of videos and I was watching them, Nick, and I was doing exactly what you pointed out, and then I tried to stop it, but it still happens. And I also did the rack pull. I had the same on the rack pull as well, which was very strange to see. But
it's a subtle adjustment, so it's going to be harder. to do because it's not a big
Yeah.
input. So you're just a little low here. All it
Well,
is,
I don't know what that is. It's crazy. I don't know.
I'm good.
I don't know why I'm doing it. You know, that's the thing. It's
Because
just-
I don't need you to know why you're doing it. It doesn't matter necessarily why. It feels good. It feels like you're in position. And you're close. But the difference of it is, look, just watch your hips the whole time.
Yeah. I just go up. There we go.
Boop. That's your deadlift position. See, we had all this momentum coming forward, so they continue to rise. But look, this is a good position. We just need to start there. That's it. So all it means is you're bringing your hips up in the starting position before you pull slightly.
Yes. And I watched the master class, and you said, you know, this is a typical thing, you know, the mistake.
Very normal.
You know. But I don't know why I've never done it before, or I think I didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's if I go on the heavy ones, you know, like because this one is also like almost like it's 120, so my PR is 130. I don't know if that is the reason.
I don't need you to solve why it's happening. I don't need you to even understand why it's happening because that's irrelevant on your execution, where you're at. All I need you to focus on is set up how you normally set up. And when you get to this point, when you get to that point, all I want you to do is go. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to think about all of this other shit around it.
Yeah.
I want you to
Yeah.
think about, okay, I'm here where I normally am. Bit, drive.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Day after tomorrow, I do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Basically, you're another overthinker.
Yes. Unfortunately. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
No problem. I think that's Carlos Irtes. Is that right? Thank you. I just got a delivery of snacks. Let's see. Fernando, I wish I could see a little bit more of where the bar is down there.
Good. I will try the next time to make it better.
This isn't bad. This is mostly exactly what we want it to be.
The bar needs to go vertical, right?
Yes, vertical,
That's not-
always vertical.
Yeah, so I have another video where I tried to track that and it was almost there. But yeah, I will try to change the angle the next time.
The angle
of the camera, I mean, so that
yes.
you can see everything.
So because I've got a hunch, I'm looking at your shin angle and knee angle here and watching it. There's this little wiggle around your knees the bar does. So what I think I want you to do is I want you to bring your hips up. And same thing I just went over with Giannis is it's subtle. I don't want them to go from here to here. I want them to go from here to here. And what's going to happen is that's going to suck your knees back a little bit.
So it will not, because what happens sometimes is that the bar back. It taps into my knees. Okay.
And what's going to happen is from that point, now that we're no longer here, our knees now get more clearance because our hips came up. I'm just going to pitch back into that midfoot. See what I'm doing?
Right.
So I'm going to be pitched back here. My hamstrings are loaded, and then that bar is going to be out front. Now the bar comes in, and it's a straight line.
And the magic happens. Right.
So your whole system right now is forward, and it's creating a lot of ankle flexion, which creates a hard angle at the knee and the shin. So we bring the hips up, suck the knees back. We sit into that middle of the foot, grab the floor with our feet, and once you orient your body further back, you'll bring the bar in. See, right here, the good thing about your position is the bar is directly over those shoulders. I'm sorry, your shoulders are directly over the bar. This is going to bring you back ever so slightly, so the bar needs to come back ever so slightly. So before you adjust the bar, I want you to adjust your hips and pull on it a couple times. And if the bar is swinging back when you're recording yourself, then you know you need to bring the bar in.
Okay. Makes sense. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Always.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
Giannis is back.
Yeah, this is the rack pull. After I because I was, it was interesting to see that I was doing it during the rack pull as well. Sorry for the typo, but then I tried to fix it, but I wasn't sure. And I wanted to ask you if the rack pull is too high. I don't know. Do I need to put it lower? It's below the knee, but still.
You could probably go down a hole.
Okay.
It's not that it's too high. It's this. If you're going to be doing rack pulls this high, this is where you overload it. This is where you go heavy as fuck, because you can. That's the rack pulls. Think about when you deadlift. When's it the hardest? At what point in the deadlift for you?
Halfway.
Okay. So, with that being said, knowing that, odds are you can deadlift way more weight at that height, right?
Yeah.
So, it needs more load to have the same effect in the volume.
Yes.
Because you're naturally going to be biomechanically stronger in that position. So that's another thing for rack pulls, guys. If your rack pulls are high like that, you need to accommodate it with the load because you're going to be stronger there. So we need to maintain that effort by increasing the load at that portion of the rack pull. So if you're weakest at the knees, that's what I want you to do your rack pulls.
Okay.
Because we know you're strong here. It doesn't need to be our focal point of the rack pull. So we'd honestly bring it down to probably somewhere in here. So let's example. Somewhere in there.
Yes.
From there to there is where you're going to start doing your rack pulls.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yep.
The position and everything, your setup's great. I love it. We just want to translate for what you need, what your deadlift needs currently.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Nick. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Jimmy, these are good. This would be a strict version of a high pull. I would like to see you doing it with a little bit more of your body involved. So we go into that slight hinge pattern, into like RDL position, get into extension, rise into that triple extension, rising on our toes, hips coming through, and pulling vertically. This is still that what you're doing is correct. It is a very strict high pull. But for you, I wanted to translate more to your compound movements. So we want that heavier load and more velocity and explosion. Nailed these. This is good. All of this, elbows, shoulders, everything staying intact. You're crunching and hinging down into your knees. Really emphasize that curl. So you contract, we shorten our abs and get that contraction. But for the most part, you're nailing these, man. Well done. Sandip, these are looking better. Still, I want you to we're getting a little bit of a fold in the upper of the torso. I want you to squeeze that back, and I want you to bring the bar a little bit lower on your traps. I don't want it so up high close to your neck. I want it a little bit lower so you can actually get that tension into that upper back. So bar is high. Let's bring it a little bit lower, mid down onto that trap, onto your traps. And that will allow you to go from here to here and allow you to keep that all intact. So when you brace and you bear down into that ribs, it all stays rigid versus it trying to putting so much pressure down into that C-spine. I think that bar position will help significantly. But your squat is already looking night and day difference. So let's for this week, I want you to adjust that barbell position and bring it much more onto the trap somewhere in here versus up on top. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. It used to be directly on my neck, but I thought I moved it lower enough, but I'll work on
Move
making
it
it maybe
lower,
a little bit lower.
and then we'll cue in some more from there.
Okay.
Okay. So you got the right idea, and you're pretty much doing it. But we want straight arms. We want to use those long limbs to our advantage. So from here, what I'd want you to do is I'd want you to extend those arms so that chest comes up, which will allow this to kind of flatten out. But here is what I want you to focus on the cat-cow, not here. I want the cat-cow realistically. Let me get down on my hands and knees here. I don't want cat-cow for the thoracic. I want the initiator to be down here in our hips. Extension, flexion. Notice how I'm not going into that thoracic. You can, in like the yoga sense, it's fine. But what I want your cat-cow to focus on is this right here. So when you pull down into that position, what that translates to is you having that physical input to go from flexion and pushing yourself back into that lumbar and your hips. So we get that neutral. So you being folded over with the arms bent is forcing you to be lower than you need to be. Versus straighten those arms, you literally gain like 8 inches of height. And that is a huge advantage. We don't want to jerk on the bar Because when you jerked on it, watch how it pulls you out of your position. But you were trying to pull from that bent arm position, and it caused a subtle jerk in the bar. We want straight arms when we deadlift. We want our arms to be as long as possible. So it'll bring our chest height up, and it'll allow us to flatten this lumbar. This is where I want the cat-cow to happen.
Okay, got it.
So we push, so we're not pulling from here. We're driving with our legs, then our glutes are coming in. Are you going to be in the Austria meetup?
No, I can't make it this year.
Okay, I really want to get my hands on you, because it'll expedite this process exponentially. But that's okay. We'll keep chipping away, because your squat, everything's still improving. Straighten those arms. Really work on the cat-cow in the lumbar, in the lower back, the extension there, not the mid back. Thoracic flexion isn't a big of a deal like lumbar flexion is. Does that all click, make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually learned that cat-cow from yoga, so it makes sense to adjust it here. That's
Okay.
what
Similar, it's very similar, but the focus is more on the interior. All right, April.
Okay. This was the 2 seconds in the hole.
You see your heels try to peel up on a couple of. That was the best rep. That was money.
Yeah, I do see that actually. I'll tell you, the other place that I felt it when I was sitting is in the front of my shins, almost like a shin splint. I was wondering if that was just revealing a weakness.
Being that a lot of those reps, it looked like you were starting to get very front foot toe dominant. When we're in this position, this is all under tension, right?
Yeah.
Tendons, ligaments. So if you're getting front of the foot dominant, you're going to really be driving with those extensors. And it makes sense. If they're weak, you're going to feel them. So I wouldn't overthink that. I think it's correlating with you getting front of your foot heavy and having to drive to push yourself back.
Man, I'm thinking all the time to sit back and down. I don't know.
And you do it. You have a couple reps where you get forward. You have a couple reps that you absolutely fucking nail. Like here, the first one really, but if you look right there, it's subtle. Watch your whole body angle. You're drifting forward the whole time.
Right. Yep.
The whole time.
Okay.
And then you start your squat. So you've pitched yourself forward and then you start.
Okay.
So before you squat, I want you to brace and bear down hard.
Mm-hmm.
Squeeze your butt. Generate full body tension. Don't let the drift happen. And then sit.
Got it. I will focus more on that.
Hey, you're not allowed to get frustrated. This is how it goes.
Well, okay. I fucking am frustrated, so there you go.
Well, it's a
Thank you.
frustrating process.
Yes, it
Always
fucking is. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. You are also getting forward, Ty.
I kind of felt like I was since I really loaded it with the 200 pounds on this one. So, yeah.
You actually corrected on that last lap because that last rep because you had to. I need you to stay back into that midfoot. Focus on that. Like start on your warm-ups. I want all your warm-ups up until like your last two jumps to be all 5 count eccentrics.
Okay.
Forcing you to stay back and stay in groove. Nice and slow.
All right, cool.
Yep. He called it high hips right here. Yeah, we need you to bend your knees and drop your hips. You're basically doing a stiff leg deadlift. We want to get those hips involved. Take those shoes off, deadlift in your socks, it's fine. And we want you to sit more because we want quads to help get that bar off the floor. We want our legs to work. So I need you to sit into your hips, bend the knees, sit, push that belly button to the floor, tailbone to the sky, and push the ground away. Don't pick it up. Push the ground away. Mindy, natural. That is a beautiful front squat. Absolutely nailed it. This is the hubby. You both move well. I love this. Daniel, you crushed those. Just put some weight on the fucking bar, man. Like this is flying. Your form, everything's tight, connected. It looks comfortable as far as the movement pattern goes. Don't be trigger shy. Move some weight, man. Pin squats. So we're working again. We're working Jonathan down into depth in the pin squats. So these are good. I want more sit, less fold, Jonathan. At this height, we should still be descending at the hips. You're getting a lot of hinge. You're almost doing a good morning. I want to see you sitting down to get the bar at that height. Out front. So you had a good hip position. This is okay. But the problem was the bar is far away from you. So it's causing your hips to rise. And then what's happening is your legs and knees suck back, and now we have a gap this big between you and the bar versus sitting back, right? You could even, if necessary, I don't want to bring your hips up anymore because they're almost in line with your shoulders as is. So it's a matter of where you're at in relation to the bar. So we start to break, and then what happens is our legs, because we're inputting leg drive, our knees suck back. Now we're forward. Now you're basically doing a stiff leg deadlift because the bar hasn't even broken off the floor yet entirely. Now we're up. Now look at our position. We're in a RDL, a good RDL stance at that, albeit. If you could, when you deadlift, because the plates are in the way, if you could either put me off to the front at a 45 from the side or off to the back so I could, or elevate me above the height of the plate so I could see down in and see the whole picture. Okay, Daniel. From the waist up, I love your position. I love your posture. I love how you're controlling the weight. But we need to get our hips down at this knee line. So I want you to come out wider, at shoulder width. I'd say maybe slightly outside of it for you. Reason being, our feet are almost inside of our hips. So if our hips are here, we're actually slightly inside. So we want to take our foot width out, half step out on each side so our hips can get in between. I'm not even going to attack this hip shift right now because we need to get the full movement pattern in. And get you comfortable with squatting. So let's get you wider. Let's get you much, 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 much lower. Keep sitting down. You have the like this whole position, the position you are in from the hips up is fantastic. We just need to carry that down all the way to depth. You've got some really good things going here on the start, where the bar is, how you're holding the bar, your neutral back. We just need to adjust from the hips down and get you used to getting down there. So this is not a high pull. High pull is here. These are, I forget, it's a Yates, something raised. I think it starts with a Y. Different movement. The high pull is in the front to here. If you're doing them strict, that's what it looks like. If we're adding in that explosiveness and the power behind it, we're going into like an RDL position with a hinge and driving into extension and upping the load a little bit. But this is more of a raise. You want a high pull. Hands do not exceed the elbow line, really. Good. We're getting deeper. I like it. We're below depth, actually, I'd say. I'd like to try and see you fight for a little bit better torso position. Sitting, maintaining that. Again, we're noticing the difference now that I've talked about it. A long femur versus that short femur squat, how the fold is much more prevalent due to the difference in leverages. But I think Bear could fight for a little bit more position in the upper body. Because at the bottom, this isn't bad. And realistically, with a barbell, and it'd probably feel a little bit more natural. But she's folding a little bit more excessively because of the weight being out front. And she's maintaining really good position. I would like to see her just fight for a little bit more upright. So you're doing a lot right here, Bear. And honestly, this is not a bad squat position at all. But what we want to do, the goal with a squat, so imagine if you had a bar. I can't see your feet, but it looks like this bar would be very close to over midfoot. And that's really the target, is generating that center line. But you might be slightly out front. And that is what I have a hunch without seeing your feet, is if we could get you to fight for a little bit more, slightly more. I don't need you to be vertical. I need you to fight for like 2 inches of more upright position. That's it. Yes. Fucking nailed that. Yes, sir. Drop that chin. We're up. Bring it into neutral. Harry. Otherwise, spot on. Spot on, my man. Well done. That was pretty. Rich, what variation? Is this conventional? You're almost sumo. Is this an RDL, stiff leg deadlift? Because you're kind of hinging as if it's an RDL, but you have the width of you're very wide. So with that being said, first things first, I want you to bring your feet in so they are directly underneath your hips. So we're going to narrow you up. And if this is a conventional deadlift, I want to see this from the side because the cues I'm going to give you will make more sense. So after we get set up and get our feet in, I need you to drop your butt because I want you to use your legs to break the bar off the floor, pushing the ground away, quad heavy part of the lift. And then as we rise, our hips come through as we come up. So I don't want you hinging to pick the bar up. I want you pushing the ground away to pick the bar up. Let me see it from the side with those adjustments, and we'll just keep bringing her in. We'll get you there. These are all right. We don't need to open up so much. We can stay pretty square with some opening with the shoulder retraction. We don't need quite as much rotation. Otherwise, these are great. All right, Jeanette.
Vacuum. Sitting this apartment, all the food is satisfying. You also can use this on furniture when done.
That was one of your better looking pulls, actually. Okay, Jeanette, the only thing, so we keep dialing in your setup. No more touch and goes. So touching and going is what you're doing by kissing the floor and tapping the floor and coming right back up. I want you to come to a dead stop every single time. Because your setup is the quote unquote worst rep out of the mix. So we need all your reps looking like the ones that come after that. So we want to come to a dead stop every single time. Brilliant. Good hinge. Hammer that lockout in. Big squeeze. Super rigid lockout. The hinge pattern itself is fucking awesome, Matthew. Well done. Clean and press. Okay. So, for everyone, it's clean and press. These soft, squishy, bent knees in the transition. We need to. Why are we doing that? So clean the bar. But the press is a separate portion. You don't have to go right into it. Even in contest, you have a whole minute to take as long as you need to get set up, get comfy, and make that press happen. So this is good. Keep the bar close. I want violent triple extension. Catch. Stand up. All the way up. Look, my knees ain't bent. I'm standing. This is how I look before the press. Then you were incredibly narrow. So what that translated to was a very soft dip and drive because you couldn't get into an so you were here, which translates to a forward sag and changes our hip position. So after we catch the bar, get into a position we can press. We can drive our knees out over our toes, which creates a nice vertical hip drive. And that's the position we press in. That is why it's a clean and press. And not clean press. So, this was good. I'd like to see much more violence in that. Accelerate, big extension, hips come through, get to your toes. Fast, violent. Once you get it up into the press, if you're going to use leg drive, front rack position, not strict press position. If you're not going to use leg drive, strict press position. We want the leg drive to go into the bar. So we want it on those delts, and it can't go anywhere. We keep a nice vertical hips up. It's explosive. The clean and press is a violent, explosive movement when the bar is in motion. It requires power. I always tell people Olympic lifting and powerlifting should swap names because powerlifting is actually much more accurate for what Olympic lifters do because speed is required of their movements. They do not happen without power and speed. Powerlifting requires no speed. It's all strength. It's very slow, one rep maxes a lot of times. That's strength. That's not so much power. Without speed, you have no power, and vice versa. So, I want you to move that violently. Big extensions, catch the bar, bring your feet out a little bit, toes out, knees track over your toes, violent dip and drive in that front rack position. Throw it. I will be doing a masterclass video So after Austria, I come home for a week, and then I go out to Santa Monica. I'm the head judge for the Santa Monica Classic, the show I did last year and won. I'm the head judge this year because I don't feel like doing any 30-pound weight cuts at the moment. Your boy's tired after a decade of it. So I will be doing it. We have now agreed on flights booked, everything. I'm doing a masterclass video on how I will be structuring this. I'll be doing a video on the clean, standalone, in depth. I'll be doing a video on the press, standalone, in depth. And it's 3 variations. The foundational variation for this app will be the push press. So you will have 2 options. I will be throwing in some split jerk, but those are the big 3. There's 4 actually. There's strict, there's push press, there's push jerk, then there's split jerk. The foundational on programs, the default will be the push press, no jerking, because it is a very, very fine-tuned, even low-level split jerks are an advanced movement. Even at its earliest levels, it's an advanced movement. So we will be going in depth with a few different videos covering each portion of a clean and press. So you guys are getting a masterclass video on a clean and press to reference. That second rep was better. Yep. These are good. I like these. So with that being said, I want to see you eliminate some of that flexion and keep a nice proud chest. I want to see a nice neutral back on most of this. I also think if we get you a little bit wider, yes, see how you're folding down here? Everything's rolling up. Let's get your feet under your hips. So your feet are going to probably come out, a whole foot width on each side. So our knees can track out and our hips track between our heels. Right now, they're so far forward, your feet are rolling up and in because you're not allowing clearance for the. Go ahead, man.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I feel like my toes are put to the outside. Should I stand more like straight forward, or is it okay to put them to the outside?
We want to move your feet out.
Okay.
Because you see what's happening with your feet here. You're getting in the position you're in isn't allowing clearance for your body to move in a squat position. So it's pushing your knees really far forward. It's peeling your feet up and in. So we need to get your feet wider so your hips can clear down between your heels. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You've got the right idea. We just need to get you in the right position. Barbell clean and press. Everyone does it, I swear. Brendan, the exact same cues I gave the gentleman. I apologize. What was his name? The exact same cues I gave Matthew 2 videos before you. The exact. So we're just so for time's sake, the exact same cues I gave him are the exact same cues you're getting because you're doing the exact same thing, like almost verbatim. Outside of pick the bar up outside your legs. Arms don't go inside the leg. You are doing looks like a strict press. Oh no, you have some. You're doing leg drive, but it's so slow, it's not doing anything. You're driving up with the legs, but it's You need to speed up everything. The exact same cues I gave Matthew, I want you to apply here. This makes me want to fly out there and do the masterclass video this fucking weekend. Ben, these are great. I would encourage you. You're trying to squat a deadlift. Keep those hips a little bit higher. Let the deadlift be the deadlift. You're very quad dominant. It's almost out front, and it's so light, you're getting away with it. But when you go up in weight, you're going to have to deadlift it. So hips are going to be, we're going to need just more hinge. You're basically doing a dumbbell squat with them here, but to actually get the deadlift, we're actually going to have to hinge and deadlift them up. Even if that means not going quite to the floor, that's okay. Yep. All right, Ben Riley. Oh. Brilliant. Yes. Beautiful set.
He had to leave, but he said to tell you he felt like he had another one left.
Yeah, I mean, he might have, but I mean, nonetheless, with how I've got him training his deadlift right now with the rep schemes and the effort, I mean, it's still got the job done. I'm totally content with how those moved and the reps accomplished.
He was happy with it too before he left.
All right, Bart. It was actually really good. You almost sat down. Don't sit down anymore. So how you did before you did that little, like, before you almost jerked on the bar, we don't want to jerk. This position, pull straight from there. This is exactly where you need to be, because watch what happens. You almost dip down and bend at the elbows and sit down further, but your hips returned naturally right to that position. Right? Boop, there. See, you're right back where you started. So just brace, tighten that back, everything, keep it right where it is, and push the ground away.
Okay, it's only happening on the heavier sets. On the lower, I don't jerk, and the more weight I put, I forget to brace.
Yeah, just don't jerk and keep everything right where it was when you set up. It literally do less.
Okay. And I think the reason you could check it out, because the new video for clean and press from Jen, that Jen is showing the clean and press with the soft legs. So that's might be the reason why so many people do it. Just check out the video if you can, and then
in the app.
In the app, if you Jen was doing the new sets of videos and clean and press,
barbell clean and press, I'm pretty sure, is showing Jen doing the clean and press with the soft knees, or you will see.
Okay.
So that
I'm
might
gonna
be the
take a
reason.
look. I just dropped a note in the group chat.
Okay.
But thank you for that bit of information, because then I can.
Yeah, like you mentioned it so many times now, and I check out my barbell clean and press, and I do it too, because I was trying to mimic Jen on that video.
Okay. Yep. I'm literally texting Catch about it as we speak. I appreciate that, Bart. That's good insight.
I'm sorry. I'm not that tail, but I just want to know.
No,
I
that's good
appreciate
because
that.
I haven't seen every single video in the app. Yet.
Yeah, some of them changed, like a couple months before Jen was re-recording them. Some of them are new. Thank you, Nick, as always.
We're doing a master class, so that will be how you do the clean and press moving forward. And that is coming very, very soon. Like literally 2 weeks after Tall. This is what I want. Lindsay is nailing this. I want to see her dip and drive. Oops, didn't go back far enough. Lindsay, the only other thing, when you land on the clean, bring your feet out slightly wider before the press every single time. Clean, boom, land, bip, bip. And I want you to eliminate that subtle hinge because I want your hips to go vertical so your knees push out over your pinky toes. But well done. Okay, we had like virtually no leg drive. Mike, we want to get those legs. Our legs are strong. We want to use them. So I need you to bend your knees, drop your hips. Push your butt out, that lumbar into neutral. Push yourself into your hips. Push that belly button to the floor, that cat-cow motion, and use your legs.
Okay, this was on the end of my workout for stiff leg deadlift, and I just kept adding weight until I got to 205.
So if it's on the stiff leg deadlift, we don't deadlift from pins. We want to deadlift the weight up, conventional, standard, and we start the rep at the top. We brace, we hinge, and your reason being you're going too far. You're not able to get in and maintain position. So we deadlift, boop, we come up, we brace, and we want to push our butt way back. For me, that's as far as I go, because after that, I'm reaching. I'm no longer hinging. I'm reaching into flexion. That's as far as my mobility allows me to go. That's my stiff leg deadlift range of motion. So we don't want it off pins. We want to deadlift from the floor, come up, brace, and we push our butt way back past our heels so our toes get light and really lights up the hamstrings.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. From the front, these look good. We're not as... Got some slight tilt, but it's not terrible. I want to see those from the side. Still, that's subtle tilt. That's okay. Good. Knees are tracking right where they're supposed to. Still, we're favoring heavily on that right one. The whole. Yep. Lindsay, let me see these from the side. Outside of that tilt, everything is where it's supposed to be, but I want to see some more from the side, if possible. All right, so that is it for the videos. There was a couple things in the actual app I wanted to touch really quick. It was pertaining to Alberto. He said, my program is body weight. For me, the most difficult thing has been finding the point of failure, find the maximum tension. Should I keep muscle under tension throughout the entire movement from the first to the last repetition? Should I only pause when the tension is at its maximum in each repetition? Or should I also pause when I go up? So that didn't really make sense because the muscle is under tension the entire time. If you're moving weight, it's under tension. There's points where you might have, I think what he was trying to ask if when it comes, and it also depends on the movement. Whereas like a bicep curl, you have more contraction at the top, obviously. That's the peak of the lift versus the bottom, but that bicep is still loaded. Versus a squat, you're under tension the entire time you're squatting. So I think what he's trying to ask is at a certain point where the leverage or the torque on the hinges of the pattern, i.e. the joints and things of that nature, the hardest quote unquote parts of the lift, should he add pauses? Yes, you can. If you're squatting, I recommend pausing them in the hole. If you're very slow in the mid range of the squat, say you go down, you come up, you pause, and then you finish the rep. Pause in that stalling point. I didn't want to answer this in the text format in the app because it is such a loaded question and it would require a novel upon novel upon novel to really kind of break this down. You're keeping the muscle under tension throughout the movement anyway. But yes, from the first to the last repetition, the tempo, i.e. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, is maintained through the entire portion of that eccentric or concentric. You can do tempo on both. You can do pauses. If you're having trouble finding the point of failure, say you're doing body weight squats and even just the eccentric, you're still add either more tempo on the eccentric or start adding tempo on the concentric as well. Add a pause in the hole. So you can make a rep take 10 seconds. 5 count down, 2 count pause in the hole, 5 count up. It's a long rep. But unless you're adding weight, you got to make the rep ask for more effort. So should I only pause when tension is at its max from each repetition? Where I put a pause is typically indicative to where you need the most help generating power, right? So if you're weak out of the hole in the squat, that's where we're putting pauses. If you're weak mid shin on the deadlift, that's where I'm pausing you. Or if there's a depth issue on squat, we're going to pause you and get you comfortable down there. So it's, if you're just doing it to generate effort, pause in the hole. Add tempo on the top and bottom of that. Yeah, that was such a lengthy, that was such a multi-faced question, and I don't know if you realized it, but that was had multiple fronts to address. So I wanted to kind of talk through that versus, yeah, and I'll reply in the chat and let them know, hey, answered, end of the Zoom. After the last form check. All right. Do we have any questions? No? None?
I have one.
Hit me.
Okay, so we talked about
Did you get a haircut?
no, ponytail.
Oh, I was like, damn.
Oh, just a ponytail. So in terms of the deadlifting, Peggy and I both wanted to know, how do we work in rack pulls, to make the deadlifting even better? Is it just one program and maximize your strength, or?
Yeah, I mean, rack pulls are always needed, right? Like, I haven't done an actual rack pull for my deadlift because that part of my deadlift hasn't been the thing that needs to pick up the slack.
Okay.
It's not there. How do I answer so I don't confuse you? Do you feel like you need rack pulls at the moment? What's the weak part of your deadlift, you'd say?
No, but well, I think the weak part right now is making sure I can get the weight off the floor,
The rack pulls aren't going to be the focus anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Deficits would be more beneficial because it's going to load the quad more on the leg drive. And
Okay.
the quad is a big driver off the floor. So
Okay.
going into that deficit or pausing literally 1 inch off the floor for like a 2 count and then reaccelerating would be more beneficial. Rack pulls would not be where I would take you.
Okay.
So rack pulls, when it comes to, again, Sandra has goals of competing in powerlifting. So attacking the points on her deadlift that need it are a little bit more important than, say, someone just simply learning how to deadlift, right? Because she wants a big total as possible for her. Powerlifting, it's you versus you at the end of the day.
Right.
Lifting, it's you versus you, especially for you overthinkers in here. So I'm not concerned if your weak point is off the floor, then rack pulls aren't really in the discussion at the moment. It's mainly going to be deficits and possibly pauses. So what program are you on?
I'm doing pumped right now. I'm
Okay.
almost at the end of it, and I'm thinking about going into maximize your strength again.
I think that would be wise. And what we can do is when you have rack pull days, I forget, does Maximize Your Strength have both deficits and rack pulls?
I think so, if I remember right.
So your deficits are going to be deficits and your rack pulls are going to be 1 inch pauses off the floor for 2 seconds.
Okay.
That's how I would break that down without completely changing the program.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? No? Going once? Going twice? All right. Well, we will end it there. That was a long one, but we got there, and a really good question by Sandra at the end. So I will catch you guys next week. Thanks again.
Thank you, Nick.
Of course.
Thank you,
Later,
Nick.
guys.
Bye.